everybody, welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Kinnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go! Ganoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count down Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to Premier Sim GL. We are here tonight for season number 37. It is round 12 of the championship as we take in the final race of the season here at the Brazilian Grand Prix at, of course, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking you to the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Monday evening. And joining me in the commentary box is an old flame of PSF1. It is Miss Jessica Ball. Jess, how you doing?
Well, I'm very glad to be here on this lovely Monday evening. Hopefully everyone's staying safe in the stormy conditions right now. I know you're suffering quite bad, James. Evan, unfortunately, can't make it because his train is delayed and he's stuck in Dublin at the moment. It's a shame he can't attend the final race, but he's been absolutely fantastic covering PSF1 this season. So surely I won't be too bad filling in for him tonight.
You would definitely not do too badly filling them all from tonight. He is probably stuck on a train somewhere in Ireland right now, unfortunately for Evan, which means you've got me and Jess for the next hour and a half, which I hope is not going to be too bad, and hopefully everything runs according to plan, because Jess is streaming, I'm not in control of the stream, which is always very good. But there were a few stewards reports to go through from last week, and of course, that big incident that we saw between Matteo, Cameron Dowd, and indeed Luca Rapazza. 2 licence points awarded to Cameron Dowd and a 5-second penalty added to his final race time. First time he's picked up a penalty all season. And Matteo's 10-second penalty was removed as well. We also had more steward reports coming through. Damien Curiel picked up a 5-second time penalty as well. So that's how it interfered with the results. And the results of last week were Tom Roberts taking the race win, Matteo finishing in second, and Ryan finishing in third. So a very interesting race there from Qatar. It was a hellish final couple of laps, final lap as well, coming down in towards turn number 6. But Tom Roberts, experience told, over the former PSF1 champion and Matteo, and in the end, McLaren topped the constructors as well coming into tonight.
Yeah, the constructors still have a very interesting fight, and it's nice to see Tom up there at the top step, even though it took a while for him to get there, but he's up there anyway, and it shows that experience, like you were saying, it does count, and with the final race looming, this could be the deciding factor on if they stay in PSF1 next season or if they go to pastures new and move to the PC side. It will be a shame if they do, because console for the win, let's just say, but the final round, we've got crazy things happening. We've seen in F2, I believe it was wet. Will we see wet in F1? Well, history dictates we might be, but we'll have to wait and see.
I'm not nodding, by the way, because I want rain in this race. I don't. I want everybody to be absolutely on it. I think we're going to see, if it's a dry qualifying session, roughly about 500ths of a second, covering maybe the top 5 drivers in qualifying, so this is going to be really tight, I think. Luca Rapazza leads the way in terms of the championship, because we're not focusing on the drivers' standings tonight. Luca Rapazza leading the way on 121 points. Cameron Dowd in second on 94. Matteo in third on 64. Then Renz in fourth on 63. He's not actually here tonight, is Renz. Danny Van Mouten there in 5th on 58, and then Tom Robertson 6th. He has had some really good form recently in other leagues as well, on 50 points. Ryan there in 7th on 46. Rien in 8th on 37. Max Van der Geest in 9th on 29, and then Radadal ran off the top 10 on 27. Alluding to that constructors fight, 144 points for McLaren, 133, or 133, as Evan likes to say, it for the Kick Saubers. He's going to hate me for that one. But there is 12 points within it, basically, in terms of a game for Sauber to McLaren. McLaren, as long as they outscore Sauber, they will wrap up the championship. If Sauber outscore McLaren, however, by 12 points tonight, that will be your day. Speaking of the order day, Jess, we've got cars out on track, and I believe the first one that came out on track was the TF10 man of Dirk, who I'm on board with, coming through the left-hand return number 9.
Yes, and that's the driver that I was on board too. You see, we are in sync tonight for the first race back after so long. And Brazil is such a really lovely track. Everyone loves it around this circuit. The PC guys gave everyone the run for their money. It's quite a short track, but bearing in mind, the drivers have got to be aware of the track limits tonight because it's caught people out in all divisions so far, including F2, due to there being lovely features in the game. But hopefully we should be all right in terms of track limits for a lot of them, but the drivers have been warned in the briefing about that. But Dirk's making his way towards the center races, one of the parts of the circuit where we could see invalidations.
Which he hasn't done for now, which is actually very good from Dirk's perspective. Around about a 16.7 expect in the first sector. Oh, call me Mystic James. 16.7 in the first sector from Dirk.
Oh, you validated.
You mentioned it. It's not my fault. It's your fault that you mentioned about invalidations. Dirk out on top. They're currently out on track. I think the next man behind him out on track is actually George Ansell, who is fighting for his life here in PSF1. Has had some really, really bad results, but also put a couple of good point-scoring finishes this season. Now, the Williams Esports LAN event winner, of course, coming through the right-hander now, turn number 10, Albico de Pato, now in towards the left-hander of turn number 11 at Vigulio, and then Jun Sao at turn number 12. 50.3 in the middle sector is Respectful, but he loses all of that time coming out of turn number 12 at Jun Sao. Now running up the hill once again in towards Speed of those Foxes, and then down the hill once again in towards turn number 15. George Ansell looking to try and get a very good lap time on the board. 106.9 to start off the night. Normally, I'd be raving about that. Well, Volokongans just came in with a 106.8, as is Alpha Gully. So, Alpha Gully out on top, Danny Van Ruiten second, Volokongan there in third, as I've also just spied, Jess. Cameron Dowd and Luke Rapata, top two in the championship, not taking part in qualifying.
They retired straight away, James. As soon as we loaded into the session, Luca and Cameron was like, nope, we're retiring. I'm a bit shocked about that because I thought they would have chosen their setups, but they might have loaded their setup very quickly and retired. But let's hope they could load their setup going into this race as well. Rain goes out in second place, and I think we just seen someone else came across the line to improve that time. Azim up to the line in P5. Times are going in big and fast already, so it just leaves Giovanni in 18th place to slot himself around the order. He is in 14th. First F1 race was back in 1973, and Rens Tomlinson did very well in season 36, but there's many other drivers that have done well in the past in PSF1. Bradley Holdham, season 34, took the win here. Season 33, Jensen Randall. Well, we know how season 33 championship decider went, didn't it? That went not too well, and that meant that Max won the title, and I think Tom was one of those that was in the title fight, but he got crashed out, so Max won the title there. Legend won here as well as Xander Van Dyken, Jordan Poland, Wilson Hughes, Matthias Van Erven, Valentin Buffet, Lou Welsh, Fiasar Lambo, and Abiadun. Those two names in particular, that's like legendary names and a half. I haven't heard these names in ages, but there we go. Those are your race winners since season 21, Mr. James Head.
Definitely. So, likes of Matthias Van Erven, Wilson Hughes, Xander Van Dyken, we all know how they have progressed, of course, in F1 sim racing recently. And then you've got the likes of Jensen, who's just there. Former WR until Tier 1 champion as well back in the day in Season 13. And also Season 33 champion here in not in PSF1 even, but Season 33 race winner even. And that was a very defining race for that man there who went 7th, Tom Roberts, who actually improved on his lap time. Set a 1 minute 15, which is probably putting me to shame, to be honest, around here in terms of my lap time that I'd be setting if I was in this field right now. But it is Alpha Gully, as I give him the nickname Sea Gully, out on top, from Rayen in second, Danny Van Ruiten there in third. But the top four are covered by 600ths of a second, so exactly how I thought this qualifying session might go is going according to plan right now. You've got, top 15 covered by 0.5 of a second, just over 0.5 of a second. Very, very interesting indeed. George Ansell there currently in 8th position. We've got the likes of Oscar Ryan, who of course was on the podium last season around here, finished P3, out on track, the German there down in P10 currently. And then you've got Matteo in P12. And for Jess, this is not normally where you expect to see Matteo, is it, within qualifying? Because he has had his fair share of struggles this season in qualifying. Normally produces it in the race. Picked up a podium finish, of course, last week in Qatar, even with that incident. But the Italian stallion, as we like to call him there in P12, he has done really badly in qualifying, but always seems to do it good in the races. Gabano has crashed, I think, coming out of the pit lane.
Oh, that is interesting. Shame we can't go on board, because I would have loved to have seen that instant that happened. And I'm looking at Mateo's results, by the way. I'm very surprised, because I've been watching all the races back, because that's my job as head of comms. I wouldn't have done my job right if I wasn't watching all the races. I'm still very surprised that Mateo has not won a race win. He got so close in round number 1 in Silverstone, the race I was there. Belgium, he got a P2, and Qatar, he got a P2. But he hasn't got a win at all since the championship season in season 36. So see Mateo could do well here as he exits the start finish straight in towards turn number 1. We'll see if he can find a time to get the race win. But don't forget, nothing to fight for in terms of the drivers. So you can go for it out. And I just spoke to you. So I swear, James, you could kick me out the commentary box right now, as I seem to be giving the commentary curses already.
It would have been a 16.7, to be fair, for Mateo, or as we've been calling him, myself and Evan, Knight Rider, because he's from Batman, of course, with that black car that he has got. Currently out on track in the F1 World Cars. George Ansel, though, has just gone quickest. 106.7.
Wow.
How do you like them apples? Good lap time there by George Ansel. Has been strong around this track. Danny Van Mouten, though, on the run toward the line to try and route the field potentially in terms of P1 and qualifying. Goes P2 in the end, 106.814. Very, very close, though, between the guys. The Bananarama car of Volakonga now coming up the hill in toward the left-hander at turn number 13. Out to beat of those boxes, now cascading on this downhill run into the final corner. We'll see what Volakonga can do. Is it going to be an absolute lightning bolt performance? No, it's not. It's 5th position in the end, but look at how close it is with Alpha Gully, with Ryan. Ryan now putting up into 2nd as well. He is a specialist around Brazil, so I'm not expecting to see him toward the bottom end of the field, that's for sure. Ryan, however, because I've just mentioned his name, has decided to come back in the pit lane, and nearly actually crashes coming into the pit lane as well. Just trying to see if there's anybody else on a run right now. Tom Roberts is on a run. Tom Bolloway speaking in the chat, can we please go one race without mentioning the experience? Yes, we will, but he did end up losing the championship around here in season 33. That's my fun over and done with. Tom now coming up towards Vico de Pato.
He's going to hate you now.
Turn number 10. He is going to hate me. He probably hates me already, to be fair. Tom now coming through the left-hander at turn number 11. Middle sector split, 50.4. He made a mistake coming through that part of the lap, so this could be a big improvement coming in now for the McLaren as Dirk now goes quickest, 106.716. So the times keep on coming down. I'm expecting the 106.6 for pole position. Tom Roberts now on the run to the line, gains all of that time back, but it's only P8 for now. The experienced figurehead in the field only managing in P8, and Azim also involved on his lap time as well. But it's Dirk out on top, George Ansel 2nd, Ryan in 3rd, half a qualifying gone.
Already we've done 2 laps and most people have improved. I know there was a few people struggling in the background, but I will expect a few drivers to go and do 2 more runs. You can do 4 laps if you want to, because we do have that lobby restart, so they can go for the softer tyre allocation. So I will expect most drivers to do 2 more runs, but there might be some people that want to abort 1 run if they're not happy and then go straight to the pits. They do have time. We've got the likes of Brando, Mateo and Damien already going out as quickly as they possibly can to get the laps in to make sure that they do not start in 12th, 13th and 14th. We've got Ryan in 6th as well. He's going out on his out lap. Dirk's been on those tyres for 2 laps. I would expect him to go into the pits straight away unless he could prove me wrong and probably stay out for a bit longer. I wouldn't do that if I were you, because what happens if there's a late safety car towards the end of the Grand Prix? You'll need those softs then, won't you? But let's see what the ones on their out laps can do in this stage of qualifying. And they will probably have 1 more lap to go if they can make it to the pits in time.
Yeah, Brando running, by the way, the Italian-inspired livery, as I like to call it. But shame there's not a little bit of red on that car, to be honest. But Brando now coming down the hill in towards turn number 4 to Cedar de Largo. We'll see what his first sector split is like. 16.7, a 10th up through the first sector from Brando. Much better coming through turn number 4. He is definitely liking things so far. Mateo and Damien also just starting up on their runs as well, coming through the first sector split. Just to throw a little bit of comparison, Mateo 16.783 matches Brando to the 1,000th of a second coming through that first sector. So the Italians definitely looking to try and get up the field, certainly. Cloud cover now beginning to build over the circuit. Maybe there's a threat of rain. Maybe that's why we saw a lot of drivers going out very early in this qualifying session. Brando now coming to the left-hander of turn number 11, and he's a 50.3 in the middle sector. Purple, it says, in the middle sector for me. But he's also all of that time now coming to the left-hander of turn number 12. Locked up there slightly. Now coming through turn 13. He will gain all this time back. He has got a lot more ERS to use up as well. On the run to the line, Brando should go third, I think. Oh, goes fourth in the end. 106.798. Damien Curiel is coming now towards the line as well. Down in P13, unlucky for some. After his penalty last week, can he bug up the field? No, he can improve, though, on his lap time. Matteo, Night Rider himself, goes only P9 ahead of Tom Roberts. Dirk, though, out on top. George Ansel in second. Ryan there in third. Just trying to see who might be furthest on the run right now. Ryan's first sector split, 16.6. In the first sector, George Ansel's not improving, a 10th and a half down. And these crowd conditions really beginning to build as Danny Van Ruiten is coming through the middle sector, and he looks like he's improving, Jess.
He is improving on his time. He could probably potentially be top 3 if he could keep this up. He is around about a few hundredths slower than the likes of Brando and Ryan. So it will probably be second place if he can keep this up and still be in the 106.7s. He's going to take the shortest one to the line. Is it going to be enough to snatch pole? The answer to that is no, but it's good enough to snatch third, Mr. James Head.
Ryan now coming through the left-hand with turn number 12, right in behind him. I think we've also got Alpha Gully on a lap time as well. He's actually down on a lap time through the middle sector. Ryan now coming through the left-hand with turn number 15, on the run toward the line. Barely got any ERS left. He improves, but he still doesn't improve his position in the end. He creates a little bit of a buffer there between himself and Brando for 5th and 6th position. Oscar, by the way, as well went 4th. Dirk, though, out on top still. George Ansel there in 2nd. Danny Van Ruiten in 3rd. Because these cloud conditions, though, are building completely over the circuit right now, everything right now is going to be in play, not for the sort of soft compounded tyres. So I am going to say now, right here, right now, I don't think we're going to see improvements, if any, I think, throughout this entirety of the final 5 minutes of this qualifying session. It's Dirk out on top, George Ansel 2nd, Danny Van Ruiten in 3rd. But these cloud conditions now, Jess, the softs are not going to operate at the right temperature, which means basically they're going to be losing, what, a 10th and a half, 2/10 of a second, even through the middle sector?
Yeah, and with it being so cold, it's so hard to warm your tyre temperatures up. But I've not seen in the chat, in the Discord chat, about any threat of rain. So otherwise, you know this tier, they would complain until the cows come home about the rain. Oh, what's happened there, James?
Just catching on board with Dirk. He looked like he was going to go into the pit lane. He's actually gone for another run. Down in towards turn number 1. Got caught in the grass, coming in towards turn number 1 on the outside curb. So Dirk, 17.3 in the first sector. Pretty much showing me up, I think, going on the grass through there.
Yeah, it's showing me up there as well, because he could take more of that curb than I could as well. And I was racing here last night around Brazil as well, so I have a rough idea what's going on. But my fastest lap was definitely a few seconds slower than what they can do. They're doing a fantastic job right now. Will we see 106.5s? We'll have to wait and see. And get your predictions in on who you think is going to get pole and what lap time it's going to be. Dirk doesn't have very long to go to make it back into the pit lane. So is he going to do another lap? Or is he going to come in? He's going to do another lap. He's 1.2 seconds down.
Yeah, I think he is going to try and see out and use up all of this ERS to come in the pit lane, because I think he's just trying to gain as much speed as possible, just to try and get a little bit of buffer, maybe to go for a second run if he invalidates his run. So that's what I think Dirk is doing there. George Ansel is first out on track. Out of sync compared to everyone else, but yet he's P2 right now. I see quite a few of you actually supporting him in the chat there. George Ansel, just for a little bit of comparison in terms of his results so far this season, I think he's only had 1 point score finish, if I'm not mistaken. I will double check my notes on this for George and see where he is in terms of the points.
23rd.
He's 23rd position, and the only point that he's picked up was round 5 of the championship in Hungary, where he finished 10th.
He was close in Belgium. He was very close
in Belgium.
Yeah.
Very close in Belgium. Finished P11.
Yeah, but most of the time he was either out of the point, and for the last few races, he either DNF'd or did not start. And not surprising that Monza with his DNF, because Monza can be very tricky at the best of times on keeping your car on the straight line with the amount of chaos that we could see around there. So I think George, he's got a point to prove, but he did not find the Center S is very good, did he?
No, right-hand return number 2, getting that car completely squirreled around the left hand of their turn number 3 as well. He backs up, but luckily, unlike Dirk, he can go for another run. Dirk, I think, is not going to manage another run here if he goes out in an outlap and if he comes out the pit lane right now. So this is going to be very tricky to see how he gets on. We're just trying to see who else is going on lap time. Bolakongan, a man that hasn't won around here before, but he has won in PSGL in the past. Hungary with a very good tyre saving strategy round there, of course. I think that was in season 33, if I'm not mistaken. Bolakongan now coming down the hill in towards the Cedar Lago at turn number 4. We'll see what Bananarama can do. 16.7 in the first sector, and Bolakongan looking really good. Only needs to find a 10th of a second to go, Paul Jess.
That's how close it is. One of the closest qualifyings we have seen this season on F1 24, which I have to say is quite incredible. One mistake and that'll put you last place in 14th spot. They put in a lot of practice for this track and it's only the final round. I know people are out of the championship fight, but they still want to give it everything because they want to have a bit of fun. Fair play to the attendance. Even in this last race, we have 18 drivers, which is impressive. Bolakongan improves in the middle sector. He's looking quicker and quicker as he goes into the final corner past Jung Sao. ERS, foot to the floor, DRS open. Here he comes. Is he going to be pole? No, P9, wow. Only 8,000 improvement. But James, we've still got people on their lap time. Tom Roberts is about to start his lap. We'll see what he can do. I think he'll be one of the last... No, actually, no. He will be one of the last people to finish one of their last laps.
I think the next one to come across the line right now, though, was Hazara, right down there at the back of the field in 13th position. 106.960 to his name. He's now coming up the hill with a purple middle sector. Take that with a pinch of salt, I may add, as well. Coming now through the left-hander at turn number 15. On the run towards the line with Hazara. 106.9. He does improve, but he doesn't improve position in the end. Just trying to see who else is on a run right now. Danny Van Rijten through the middle sector is down. Oscar back in the pit lane. He is done. Ryan is down on his lap time. He's going to go for another run as Oscar there retires into the pit lane. Brando's a 10th and a half down as well. So it looks like hardly anybody is improving right now on this. Dirk doesn't get another run. Dirk does not get another run. He just about come across the line there. And he does not get another run. He definitely doesn't. George Ansel there as well. Danny Van Rijten is 2 tenths down. This could be your top 3, but Ryan is up by 7,000th of a second in the first sector. He hasn't got enough fuel, though, I don't think, to complete this lap time. So Ryan, I don't think, is going to be improving. Mateo's already done. Alpha Gully now, is he going to fly his way, potentially, into pole position, using up all of this EOS now on the rental line. In P9 currently, stays P9. 800th down his lap time. Hazara's down his lap. Azimo, purple in the middle sector. The Turk now coming through. The left-hander turn number 14. Now to the left-hander turn 15. Azim, look good on his back lap. Now comes to the line. Goes 11th in the end. 106.859. And I think, because Ryan's not on a lap, everyone is done. That's the end of qualifying. Dirk out on top. George Ansel second. Danny Van Rijten in third. But Jess, top 8. Top 8 are covered with a 106.7. Mad qualifying.
Welcome to PSGL PSF1. And do you want to know something else, James? The top 8 separated by 8 100ths of a second. The top 3 separated by 3 100ths of a second. The top 4 as well. Incredible. Where do you get that? Brazil, PSF1, what? The pinnacle of PlayStation. They want to be there. This is going to be a really epic finale, and I'm here for it.
Conor McDonough definitely did wonders choosing Brazil as a season finale. I've got to say, this season, look at that, man. 400ths of a second are covering the top 7, let alone the top 4 or 5. Dirk out on top at the end, 200ths of a second clear of George Ansel there in second, by far outperforming himself this season so far tonight. Danny Van Rijten there in third, Oscar in fourth, Ryan in fifth, 1,000th of a second between each of them. Mateo there in sixth, Rayan in seventh, another 1,000th of a second between them. Brando in eighth, then Alpha Gully 9th, Bolakongan ran up to top 10. Then it's Azim, Tom Roberts, Hazara, Damien Curiel, Max von der Gies, Gavano there down in P16. And then, of course, the 2 special ones, as we're calling them tonight, Luke Rapata and Cameron Dowd from P17 and 18 on the grid. We are going to take an intermission break. You'll hear a word from our sponsors, Sim Racing Centre and GT Omega. We'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. back, everyone, to Premier Sim GL. We are here tonight for season number 37, round 12 of the championship. What a qualifying we have just bared witness to. Evan Dalton is stuck on a train somewhere in Ireland, so he can't be here tonight. Jess alongside me, of course, in the commentary box. My name is James Head. Jess Ball, of course, alongside me in the commentary box for tonight. And Jess, we said there, right at the end of qualifying, what, top 7 covered by 400ths of a second. It's only Brazil that can produce that level of closeness between every single driver out on track.
I was not expecting it to be this close. I was expecting it on the PSI to be 1 or 2 tenths, but less than a quarter of a tenth between each other. It just shows that they mean business around this track, and I'm really gutted that Evan was going to miss it. He's probably very jealous, not gonna lie, as he's going to miss a great Grand Prix. But we've been warmed up to what's going to be some great action. I do believe it's going to be dry though, so no rain. We thought we were going to have rain, but we got absolutely fooled by the F2 guys. But we should be in for a good one. I'm excited after that qualifying.
Yeah, we should definitely be excited for this as well. Somebody that isn't excited, by the way, is Matteo. Just looking at him in the Discord right now. How did I choke pole? I was barely in the 6s until 8:50. So Matteo has basically skated through that qualifying session. I think is what I can definitely say. He was barely in the 6s, and then he got, what, like 8th, 9th position, I think, or 6th position even in qualifying there. But Dirk topping the timing sheet. George Ansel in second. Big shock, I've got to say, from George. He did well around here in the Williams Esports LAN event, which he actually won around here, I believe, as well in Brazil. And Danny Van Ruiten there in third. Now, let's take a look at Danny Van Ruiten in particular because there's that battle for P3 out on track between Matteo, Rens Thomason, who's not here, Danny Van Ruiten and Tom, and Ryan as well thrown into the mix. So we've got, what, 18 points separating third down to 7th in the standings. In particular, though, Danny Van Ruiten, he's only 6 points behind Matteo, has out-qualified Matteo quite a few times this season, did finish 7th, of course, did not start even last week, and DNF'd in his last 2 races as well. So, Danny Van Ruiten's up against it, whereas Matteo, he's the man in form with that P2 finish in Qatar last week.
Yeah, and sometimes qualifying is not essential, in particular around a track like Brazil, where we've seen hundreds and hundreds of overtakes. Remember back in 2021 in real life where we saw Lewis Hamilton? Last season we saw loads of overtakes. Every Brazil race in PSGL, even F2 earlier on, we've seen overtakes. So qualifying may not be as important as you might expect. It's going to be about who could get the best start, who's better at their tyre strategy, because we know that the mediums and hards could work well, and who could buckle under the pressure. And obviously with Matteo on form, he could be in a good shot, but anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and Matteo, to be honest, has had wretched qualifying, I've got to say, so far this season. He's been out of the top 10 quite a lot, I think, within at least half of the races that I can definitely remember from this season. Matteo has been outside of that. Matteo was asking also in the chat, what were everyone's PBs? Because I want to understand if everyone else choked or I was actually decent in the session. So Matteo, looking at that, everyone sort of choked within that session. Maybe the conditions in qualifying throw into the mix. We are going to get going, by the way, very soon indeed. But, shall we have a look at the season 38 calendar just before then as well? Because if you thought this season was anything to go by, next season is definitely going to be something. To the land down under, of course, for round 1 of the championship in Australia. And that's where I'll stop, because you guys can see the rest of the calendar. Going ahead, in 3 weeks' time to Australia, these guys have got to try and secure their seats in PSF1. This is the time to do it tonight in Brazil. Final race of the season. The gloves will be off.
Yeah, the gloves will be off. They'll be proving to the likes of Connor and Louis that they deserve to have the top shot once again, because if they mess up, like George tonight maybe potentially, then that could have been their final shot. And with George's qualifying, that could be... What the hell is going on? Sorry, I got distracted. Distracted by something. We'll talk about it in a minute. For the tracks I'm looking forward to, Monaco, round 6. I've got to make sure I'm reserving for that, because that is an amazing track. Britain, December 2nd, looking forward to that. Of course, we're going to Qatar again. gutted that Brazil is not there. Connor, how could you? And we also got Las Vegas for round 11 and season finale, Bahrain. Oh, it's a good calendar. I really like it. And of course, you got the Christmas break. And Japan is 1 day before my birthday.
Monaco's 3 days before mine, so I really cannot complain in terms of the calendar. Shall we, though, have a look at what is going on out on track? Because
about our reaction.
Well, we forgot to mention, or I forgot to mention to Jess, that it's dynamic weather nowadays in PSF1, so that is why we are seeing these drivers. It is raining like crazy out on track. It's typical Brazilian monsoon weather in September, I think, right now. But this just adds a real element, I think, into the race. We obviously are going to have a little bit of a delayed start just for drivers to get their setups. But how on earth are they going to cope with these conditions? Because these are very similar to PSF2 earlier on, where it started in the wet, potentially going to get dry later on. Judging by how that intensity is in terms of the rain, it's absolutely booking it down. It's heavy rain, maybe a couple of guys on inters.
Thank you for telling me that it was dynamic for the lobby restart. I did not know that. So I was wondering why the drivers weren't complaining in qualifying. But now I can see in the Discord chat people going, oh no. And I'm sure everyone in this chat is going to be like, oh, yes. And I think Liam's looking forward to it as well. I'm sure our social media manager is going to absolutely love the content we're going to see live on stream right now. But this could change the setup a little bit. They are allowed to change setups, I believe, if I'm not that mistaken. There's no policing on setups. James could correct me if I'm wrong. But I'll hand it over to you for the 5 red lights.
5 red lights about to go out for the season finale in Brazil. And it is lights on, away we go. And George Ansel gets a better start than Dirk. Might be alongside him towards turn 1. Has a bit of a fishtail slide, but Dirk will lead down in towards turn number 1. George Ansel there, getting done around the outside, but Danny Van Ruiten into the centre as we go for the first time. Hopefully nobody ends up like Coulthard and Nakajima in 2008 around here. Dirk through the left-hander. And turn number 3 leads the way. Danny Van Ruiten in second. Ryan and Oscar side by side. You can barely see anything going down in toward the left-hander now. Turn number 4 to see the logo. Ryan tries to hang it all the way around the outside. George Ansel has nearly gone straight on the set of intermediate compounded tyres. He's now side by side with Oscar, nearly running wide again. Dirk leading the way. Danny Van Ruiten in second. Ryan has to get this move done. To the inside on he goes on the full set of wets. It's definitely wet weather cut tyres so far because Ryan and Rayen absolutely fly past George Ansel. George now side by side with Oscar once again. Dirk leads the way though. Danny Van Ruiten in second. Rayen there in third. We've got half. Most drivers starting on inters. Some of them starting on full wets.
That is interesting. I thought they were all going to be on the same tyre, but Ryan breezing past, and I have to agree. You can see the standing water. I think it is also wet condition, and you can see the wet runners absolutely flooring past, but Tom Roberts is loving life on those inters, so you never know. There wasn't much difference at the start of the game. As you can see, Volakongan going side by side with the like of Giovanni and Alpha Gully. Tom Roberts has been passed by Alpha Gully once again, up into 10th place. Oh, he went too deep there. Danny's taken the lead. But there's action happening into the centre, as you could hardly see due to the spray, James. Oh, my goodness. As Tom to the inside, in towards turn 2, defends from Matteo.
We can just about see Volakongan in the background as well. He's side by side with Gavano and also Luke Rapata nearly side by side with Lazara in the background as well. Going out wide there is actually Gavano. Matteo to the outside line as well. Alpha Gully now getting the job done as well. Look at Ryan though. They're in P3 on that full sort of wet compounded tyres. He is right on the back of Dirk. Nearly going to go for the move in towards Ferradura at turn number 7. But Danny Van Ruiten leads the way. 7/10 of a second. Dirk in second, Ryan in third. Obviously, the weather must be telling them completely different things. Full set of wets is the tyre to be on. They seem about a second and a half quicker right now compared to the inters. Ryan certainly making that known on the back of Dirk. Luke Rapata trying to make his way through as well. On his own teammate, I may add as well. It's big for the Kick Sauber team because they're 13th and 15th outside of the points right now. But Campton Dowds is 15th right now, so McLaren currently are only scoring points from Tom Roberts there in 9th position. Here comes Ryan, though, using up all of that battery to the outside line. Now down the hill, once again, in towards turn number 1. flies past Dirk. Dirk's surely not going to get late on the brakes like he did last time. Danny Van Mountain leads the way. Ryan there in second, but we've got more action up and down the field. Cameron Dowds has actually retired into the pit lane. So Cameron Dowds, he's already wrapped up P2 in the championship. He is out of the race early on. He has had wheel issues I know of in the past as well. He's under pressure now, though. But that might be it for him. Azim, though, to the inside line on George Ansel. Oh, very deep into the apex. There goes Azim on George Ansel. Gives him a bit of a whack for good measure as well. Tom there feeling safe. And George Ansel's definitely getting messed about on those inters.
He is absolutely sliding. And you can see everybody else sliding as well. It's definitely not enough for the intermediate conditions. But I think people on the intermediate conditions, they're going to be hoping that it's going to dry up. If it wasn't going to dry up, everyone would be on the full wets right now, which could go to the end of the Grand Prix. The ones on the inters, they want to stay out for as long as possible, but they're going to overheat very quickly. They can't make the entire race, and they don't last very long around here, so maybe that could be the wrong decision. So we'll see what they can do as they make their way towards Jungsown now. Danny's pulling away from Ryan by 1.4 seconds, so I wonder if Danny's intermediates are starting to really help him a little bit. 1:19.4 for him. So some certain parts of the track which could be faster, or it might just be personal preference, or it might be that Danny is a quick driver. Tom, by the way, up the inside of Azim, up to 7th. I think we're starting to see the crossover point very soon, because some of the intermediate runners are getting past the wet runners, but it might just be the pace. They're going at it. Who cares if it's wet?
Rayan has left the session. I'll try and get her back in very soon indeed. Matteo and Luca Rapata, though, were side by side throughout the entirety of that final sector, pretty much. 11th and 12th position. They were side by side, albeit they had contact as well last week in Qatar. And now the ex-PSF1 champion against the current PSF1 champion is definitely going to be a sight to be behold, as Rayen there is dropping down the field. As I say, I will try and get her back in the session very soon indeed, but not until Matteo tries to go for the move on C Gully, Alpha Gully. It's a bit like C Gully, where the right-hand track right now, and Rayen actually, his car has not ghosted on my screen. Now to the inside line, and Matteo makes contact there with the back of Rayen. Not sure if that's just a thing, maybe. Hopefully the drivers are not experiencing this. Matteo, side by side, both wing damage, and this is absolute chaos. And all of this has been caused by Rayen leaving the session and his car not ghosting whatsoever. He is an absolute wreck out on track right now for the rest of the field. A rolling wrecking ball, you could call him. He has to join ASAP just to try and get rid of this ever. He has managed to rejoin the session, and his AI is coming into the pit lane. This is absolute disaster for Rayen.
Oh, it could have gone any worse, unfortunately, but I'm guessing it might be for damage, or the AI is going to see if it's a better tyre. I think it'll give us an idea of what tyre they should be on. Full wet. Well, that explains it then. But the ones who are on the intermediate tyres at the front, they're doing a fantastic job, so I don't think I agree with the AI here at the moment. I really don't.
Definitely not. I feel sorry for Rayen because he doesn't deserve, I think, that look. His AI is just putting him onto a full set of wet compound tyres, which at the minute do not seem as quick as the Inters. I mean, Danny Van Mouten leading the way. 2.6 seconds over Ryan right now. Dirk there in third, a second behind. Oscar in fourth as well with Brando, Tom Roberts. Drivers, people in the chat saying the driving standards are a little bit poor. Expect it in these conditions early on, personally because they haven't experienced the full wet weather around this track, because they, of course, have got rid of time trial and the setups and everything. Maybe they've done a bit of Grand Prix running. However, Oscar is looking very good on the back of the pole to the Dirk. He's now looking to try and get the move done down in towards turn number one, but I don't think he's barely going to get alongside down in towards turn number one. So I think for the first time in a long time, Jess, with about a fifth of the race gone, everything is now calm.
Yes, everything has been very smooth at this point of the race, which probably gives us a little bit of a calm down right now. But Oscar might prove us wrong here in towards turn number 4. No, Damien is out of the race, but he's retired in the pit lane. So that is his last race in season 37. And yeah, that is very, very gutting for him that his race has gone from bad to worse here right now. And I think the battle we're going to watch out is between Oscar and Dirt. We're also going to keep an eye on the likes of Luca Rapassa, while Congan close in as well. So those two fighting for the top 10 positions. Top 10 do score points in PSGL. So they do mean business, and points do mean prizes. And ignore the yellow flag that keeps flashing. It's just the AI coming out of the pit lane and retiring. I don't know why they do that. I think they should stop that, to be honest. But Oscar is catching. You can see the conditions are slowly getting better, but still not quite enough for 4 wets yet. But they're definitely giving it their best shot, aren't they?
They are. Oscar all over the back of Dirk is looking very, very serious right now. The Norwegian on the back of the Dutchman, in hot lap mode, on the run towards turn number 1. Thank goodness his AI is going to get out of the way very soon indeed, is Damien's, because that yellow flag is doing my head in on the left-hand side there. Danny, though, leading the way. 3.6 seconds, really beginning to excel out on track. He clearly has done his homework in terms of these compound tyres and in terms of these inters as well that we've currently got out on track. Ryan there in second, full wet compound tyres on the car, made good progress through the field, but he is now going to drop as a result. There's side-by-side, though, further down the field. Matteo and Alpha Gully are side-by-side, down in towards turn number 4 at the Casino del Lago. Matteo is through on the back of Gavano. Both of them, by the way, have got damage because of somebody's AI being an absolute idiot and just parking it on the apex from Rayen's perspective. Nothing that Rayen could have done, just AI completely failing in terms of the Goldstein, maybe in terms of the game there as well. So unfortunate for Rayen, his AI then decided to pit him into the pit lane. As a result, Matteo and Alpha Gully have got damage as a result. So that means Louis Dupont is going to be one very, very busy man just trying to really come to terms with what happened, I think, in terms of that incident earlier on. But it's going to be really interesting to see if drivers do report that, of course. Oscar's still on the back there with Dirk, running now down the straight in towards turn 1. Danny Van Ruiten fastest up the race, getting quicker and quicker now out on track. All the conditions. Oscar again looking to the inside line of Dirk, but not going to get close enough. Come on, guys, give us some action. It's a little bit boring now.
Yeah, it's all now quieting down, probably because we told them about the driving standards are not very good and they've suddenly cleared up their app. What do you want, James? Do you want cleaner racing? Or do you want driving standards to be absolute rubbish? I would have said something else, but I'm not allowed to say it on stream because A, it's not even 9 o'clock yet and we're not allowed to do that in PSGL anyway. And here is our first track limit warning from Hazara, 3-second time penalty. Not quite sure where he got it. I think if looking at the track map, it was definitely at the centre S's again. But you can see Oscar's getting very close. So is Brando, so is Tom Roberts. They want to get as many points as they can, especially Tom Roberts with the McLaren constructors being right at the forefront of this stream so far. We will keep an eye on the permutations as it continues. Bit of a slide for Tom Roberts in the background. If I was Tom Roberts, I would play it absolutely safe, heading towards Jungsao coming up now. And look who we got in the chat as well. We got Marl in the chat. That's the first time I've seen Marl in a long while. Well, welcome back. I do miss you out there on chat, but good to see you out there. Tom Roberts, is he going to go for a lunge in towards turn 1? I think he's going to go to the inside line, or is he going to back out? He set the fast lap of the race. Oh, there's a bit of contact between himself and Brando, but he just about gets a car stopped in time. And yes, what a move from Tom Roberts, who was an F2 champion in the past. Brando's not going to give this up, though. Through towards turn 3. He's right on the gearbox. Is he going to go left or is he going to right? It's going to be hard to see right on track. But Tom kept his nose clean, and he's up into 5th.
And George Ansell's beginning to make good ground as well through the field. He's got the move done on Iten Azim. Oh my word, he's sideways coming through turn number 4.
Wow.
Here's George Ansell there, the Brit, getting the move done on the Turk. And the Turk now down into P8, George Ansell there in P7. So George's tyres maybe just overheating. Alpha Gully has decided to bail into the pit lane on that set of intermediate compounder tyres. I think he's got a front wing change there as well,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, down in P16. But everything now beginning to happen because the rain is beginning to ease off out on track. The track is beginning to get quicker and quicker. Danny Van Ruiten's just looking like an absolute goat right now. 6 seconds clear of Ryan in second. But now it is Groundhog Day. And it's pretty much weather for groundhogs, I've got to say, in Brazil right now. Because Ryan there in P2 is under pressure from Dirk. Dirk, though, under pressure from Oscar. Is Oscar going to try and do the Tom Roberts? Standing towards turn number 1. The inside line is cut off for Dirk, to Dirk. To defend, and Oscar now has to go all the way around the outside to turn number 1. Nearly wing members apart, but Oscar flies around the outside. Beautiful move by Oscar in the end. Dirk there in P4. I'm not sure if there was a bit of carbon fibre potentially coming off the car. Tom now on the back of Dirk. Dirk has been done like an absolute cat down in towards turn 4, and Tom now looks to try and do Dirk to the inside line as well. Tom, the experienced figurehead, gets the move done. Dirk's tyres overheating. Danny Van Ruiten leads the way. Ryan in second. Oscar in third. Tom now in fourth. Luke Rapata and Matteo, by the way, side by side, coming through the left-hander now. Turn number 4. Both of them have got damage on the left side end plates. Brando now getting the move done on Dirk further up the field. But the two PSF1 champions of time's gone and time's passed. Luke Rapata and Matteo still side by side in towards Ferragira.
They're still going at it, aren't they, around this circuit, and it's wet. And what I've noticed around here is there's quite a lot of people who started on the full wet have now gone onto the intermediate tyres. So if I were you, the Inters is the best tyre to be on if you haven't already. So I would expect Ryan to come in ASAP, really, and he could be on the fresh rubber. We've seen it before, people that went onto fresh air bin just climb their way through the field. So it's not over for the ones in the full wet, or maybe Ryan is just waiting for another prime opportunity at the moment as they make their way towards the centre S's. But 6.8 seconds, here's the gap. You can see Danny really increasing the gap and Oscar getting very, very quick. What line is Oscar going to take getting towards turn 4, or is he going to play it sensible? I think he's going to play it sensible because he doesn't want to make any contact. Same with Tom Roberts. Same with Brando as well, but he's a little bit too further behind.
Tom, honestly, is the man to watch out for right now. He loves intermediate compounder tyres, albeit season 33 is probably a now foregone conclusion for him. Tom now on the back, though, of Oscar and Ryan. He is definitely looking quicker than these two. If Ryan doesn't hold these guys up too much, Oscar and Tom won't get on the back of Danny Van Ruiten, don't get me wrong, but Ryan has got to try and hold them off. He's on the better tyres, you could say. You can treat a full set of wets like a set of hards right now, and an Inter's like a medium, essentially, because basically the wear of the tyre is now beginning to go through more from the graining, and therefore Oscar, speaking of which, is going to get the move done. A very unorthodox move through turn number 14. Ryan looking to try and bail into the pit lane, I think, there. Now Tom goes around the outside of him in towards turn number 1. Ryan will not defend that whatsoever. Danny Van Ruiten still leads the way. Oscar in second, Tom Roberts in third. But Tom Roberts has set the purple final sector out of everyone. Round 2 between Luke Rapata and Matteo now going to kick off, by the way, for P8 and 9. Luke Rapata currently being outscored by Tom, of course, out on track. McLaren currently leading the constructors coming into tonight, so therefore pretty simple. McLaren are outscoring Kick Sauber, and Kick Sauber are going to be down in second position as it stands in the constructors. Luke Rapata and Matteo, though, side by side. Here comes Matteo, the Italian stallion, looks the inside line. Luke Rapata comes across the lane, now to the outside line in towards turn number 4. Matteo tries to switch back in the dreams to the inside line, now through turn number 5. Up the hill we go, in towards Valanja and Ferragira at 6 and 7. We saw Glock go around the outside. Matteo goes around the outside of Luke Rapata. They both got front wing damage, and they both couldn't give absolute two craps. Luke Rapata and Matteo side by side. In toward the left-hander now, turn number 9. And Matteo, the Knight Rider, gets the move done on the defending PSF1 champion Max von der Geeses round through turn number 4. But Luca makes contact with the back of Matteo, coming now through turn 10 at Pico de Pato. Matteo there in P8, Luke Rapata in P9. Put it this way, this is a rivalry I'm never going to get sick of seeing.
Yeah, two F1 champions definitely going for it right now. It's Tom Roberts to the inside of Oscar before the braking zone. Tom Roberts is up into second spot, and we're seeing Ryan go off those full weights and onto a set of the intermediate tyres. He's not going to lose that much time because everyone else keeps squabbling. Oscar is going to have another go here potentially in towards turn number 4 to see Delago. He is not, but they're giving us some really insane racing. So Ryan's going to come out, I think, just behind Zara coming out. Yep, he's going to be remaining in the top 10. We got Azim of Kongan catching up as well. That's going to be an interesting fight. But this is the first time I've seen this rivalry in the wild. Yes, I've watched the streams back, but we've never seen two championship winners fight like this. It's crazy. I'm loving it. I'd like to see more of this if they both sign up next season.
Well, we saw it in Qatar last week. We had that 3 wide moment with Cameron Dowd, Luke Rapata and Matteo somehow making it 3 wide twice down in towards turn number 1. Absolutely brilliant, I've got to say, from that move. Go and watch it back later on if you want to. But Matteo and Luke Rapata are probably 2 of the cleanest drivers I've got to argue on console right now. Really, really strong fighting and defending from Matteo and Luke Rapata there in that battle. It's now just begun to string out a little bit between them both, which means we can turn our attentions to the man there in P2. Tom Roberts trying to make inroads on the back of Danny Van Ruiten. At this moment in time, with no VSCs or safety cars interfering, Danny Van Ruiten is going to rout the field. Tom Roberts there in second, Oscar there in third. It makes me think, though, Jess, we're going to see dry weather at some point within this race. If I'm a betting man, and I hate to think that I am, I'm going to bank on around lap 26, lap 27, with the sun now beginning to gleam through the clouds there as well. Normally indicates that the track might dry later on. I'm going to go around about lap 26, 27 for it to start to dry out and potentially see some dry running if we are.
I'm going to go later than that. I think it's going to be slicks lap 30. Lap 30. But I wonder what you all think in the chat. When do you think it's going to stop? What lap do you think is going to stop raining? And what lap do you think is going to be slicks? Or what if it's not going to be dry at all? If it's going to be like this? Again, put your thoughts in the chat. Tom is absolutely flying right now. There's no DRS to fall effect, so that's really going to help him. If Oscar did have DRS in the dry, he would have got past. But it is raining, of course, so no DRS.
Yep, no DRS out on track indeed, but Danny Van Ruiten at the moment is just still pulling away from Tom Roberts, from Oscar, from Brando's second, third and fourth position right now. Big up, by the way, 58 of you tuning in right now. Thank you so much to every single one of you for tuning in tonight. If you are enjoying the commentary, enjoying the stream, like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you are new to the channel. My name is James Head. Jess Ball alongside me, of course, in the commentary box for tonight. Evan Dalton stuck in the middle of nowhere right now, I can guarantee you, on a train somewhere in Ireland. Oh, he's in the chat. Brilliant. Even better. He hopefully is home and hopefully he's dry, which is the main important thing. Danny Van Ruiten leads the way. Tom there in second, Oscar in third. But now we begin to see some of the more experienced figures now beginning to come to the fore. Ryan has come into the pit lane for a fresh set, or what was a fresh set of inters, but he's actually got them 4 lap old inters. So bit of a strange one there for Ryan, going back on his old tyres. But now Oscar on the back of Tom. Oscar has improved so much, I've got to say, on this game in PSF1 and indeed in the leagues as well. He's on the back now, Tom, in towards turn 1. He's not going to get the move done. There's maybe just a threat, I think, from the Norwegian to try and outdo the Brit in towards turn 1 at least once, I think, in this race.
I think Oscar has been very impressive, and Brando's been very impressive in this race as well. He's going to be free wide into towards turn 4 to Cena de Largo. Who said you can't go free wide in Brazil? Well, these three are proving us wrong, and Tom Roberts is like, nope, you two are not getting past me, my friend. And we've seen in many seasons gone by in F1 23 last game, we've seen many people go from lower divisions like F4 and F3 and do so well in F1. We're seeing this here on F1 24. Oscar starting from a very low division in previous games, and now on F1 24, he's in F1, and he's doing a great job. If I don't see him in F1 next season, I'm going to be very surprised. He's doing fantastic, and he's loving these wet conditions. Maybe he could give us some tips in the commentary box, because I absolutely hate racing in the wet on this game, and these three are keeping it relatively clean.
Yeah, definitely need all the advice I think we can get with what is going to be coming up on the channel very soon indeed as well. I'll tease that at the end of the stream as well. Oscar, though, on the back of Tom. Tom under pressure as well from the back of Brando as well. They are all fighting out in a bit of a line of stern formation right now in towards turn number 1. But we saw as George Ansell came in the pit lane, his tyres obviously overheating enough for him to come in the pit lane. Oscar now on the back of Tom. He looked to try and get the move done down in towards turn number 4, and he's not going to get it this time around. But Ryan responds with the fastest lap of the race, a 16.346. That's about a second quicker, I think, than what they were doing earlier on in the race. So Ryan definitely begins to close in, and he's actually disposed of Azim and Hazara very easily indeed. Azim, of course, has already been in the pit lane 3 laps earlier than what Ryan did. But Ryan now only 1.4 seconds off his old nemesis in Mateo, ahead of him out on track, coming up the hill in towards turn number 6. It's going to be a really intriguing race, I think, in terms of strategy, because obviously the conditions are beginning to improve. The inters are beginning to come into play. George Ansell came in the pit lane, has gone out on a set of inters down in P12. Those inters are going to be really fresh for the first 9 or 10 laps of the stint. And then we saw with George how quickly they went off, even at the start of the race from his perspective. But we see how quick the inters can go off out on track as Oscar bears down once again on the back of Tom and towards turn number 1 on lap 18 out of 36, marking the halfway stage here in Brazil. Here is your roll call. Danny Van Ruiten leading the way from Tom in second. Oscar there in third. Brando in 4th, then it's Dirk in 5th. Matteo soon to be passed by Ryan. So soon as I said that, Matteo's in the pit lane. Didn't think of that, to be honest. But Ryan now in P6. Matteo now dropping down the field. Azim now in P7. Hazara P8. Then Volokongan, Gavano, Matteo side by side into the pit lane. Matteo Gavano will go. George Ansel there down in P11 now. Alpha Gully will be P12. Then it's Max von der Geese, Luke Rapata. And then Matteo will be coming out ahead of Rayen, but he will be behind Luke Rapata coming out of the pit lane. Guarantee this. He's coming out of the pit lane right now. And Max von der Geese and Matteo are going to be roughly side by side, but I think he's going to rejoin just behind Luke Rapata, especially with that snap coming out of the pit lane.
Yeah, it's quite hard to manage your tyres in the pit lane, and don't forget his tyres are going to be extremely cold compared to the likes of Luca Rapazza and Mats van der Geest in 13th spot. Meanwhile, Volokongan side by side to the outside. He had a bit of a swerve there heading towards these tight air section. It's very hard on this game. 90 towards the final sector. Tom is in, yes, one of the first of our lead runners to come in and do the pit stop. Now, he's done 17 laps on those tyres, which strongly means they could get to the end on the final stint. So he's doing a 1-stop. There'll be quite a few people doing a 2-stop, hoping it doesn't dry out. So here comes Tom Roberts to intercept the intermediate tyres. He's going to come into the mid-pack and hope that the ones who just pretty much staying out are going to struggle. But I'm loving. Oh, we got George and Giovanni side by side. George gets past on the inside up the 10th, and he's in the points.
And he is in the points indeed. George Ansel on those fresher tyres definitely coming into play. Tom's rejoined behind Azim, which, to be honest, is not the best place to come out with a car right in front of you coming out the pit lane. But Tom Roberts right now will be loving life because he can get Azim done pretty quickly. And then he's on the back of Ryan, 4.7 seconds up the road. So Tom has got to find a little bit of a move there and a little bit of a miracle to the inside line. He goes on Azim, gets the car completely locked up in the wrong way, and Azim tries to go all the way around the outside. Needs some shorter room. Inches apart they go, but the fresher compounded tyre is surely going to come in and play. Tom Roberts now on the outside line, gets the job done. Danny Van Mouten is into the pit lane from the race lead. We should see Oscar, Brando, Dirk make their way into the pit lane. Brando certainly does. Dirk and Oscar stay out, they continue on, but Tom Roberts now clear of Azim. Just how much inroads, though, we can make on Ryan is going to be seen because he's, 6 lap pressure tyres. I make that out about a 15% better off for Tom in terms of the average wear. So Tom Roberts, 15% better tyres than Ryan right now. He's got to make that stick.
And he's got to make it work. And with Tom Roberts maybe getting that undercut, will we get ahead of Brando? He's going to be very comfortably ahead of Brando. So the undercut has worked, and Brando's going to be on the fresher tyres too. So bring it on in terms of the battle with the likes of Tom, Ryan, Azim, and Brando, all on different tyres. Hazara has a box, neither is Oscar, and neither is Dirk. And their tyres are going to be on the knife edge as they head towards these final few laps of their stint. If I was them, come in now, because otherwise you're going to lose some time. Maybe they're praying for a safety car or it's dry up even more, but already we can see Danny closing in by quite a bit. He was about 9 seconds a moment ago. Now he's 7.9 seconds behind the likes of Dirk and Oscar. So what is Oscar going to do? Is he going to think about boxing? Yes, he is. Oscar comes in. Dirk's surely got to follow suit. No, he does not. He stays out.
Yeah, he doesn't, which is really, really strange. But I think he wants the fresher tyres towards the end of the race. They are going to be fresher toward the end. But because everyone has pitted in, and I would say Azim, Volokongan, Hazara, Gavano, and Alpha Gully have still got to come in the pit lane, as have Max von der Geest and Rayen further down the field. It's going to really change up the order, I think. Oscar's going to be near enough side by side, I think, with Azim and Brando coming out of the pit lane. Of course, a much wider entry coming out of the pit lane now these days in Brazil compared to the old days. Oscar was side by side with Brando, literally coming out of the pit lane. I think Brando is just going to get ahead, though, of the Norwegian. Crucially, though, for Oscar, he's got Volokongan right in behind, which is going to be a good thing, potentially, to hold off the likes of George Ansel coming through the field later on in this race. But Dirk leading the way, 6.9 seconds the gap. Between Danny Van Mouten and Ryan, however, the gap is 2.7, and the gap is 7.6 between Danny and Tom right now for 2nd to 4th position. But remember, most of these guys have got to come in the pit lane again. But I'm now sensing, Jess, and I'm looking on board with Ryan for this. These conditions are getting better. The rain looks like it's beginning to ease up. lap 26 or 27 probably not going to be the case. I'm more thinking about your prediction. Are we going to see drives before the end of the race and probably in the last 5 laps of the race? There was a yellow flag. I think that's Matt von der Geest round through the first sector.
Yes, that was Matt von der Geest. He lost it in the middle sector. I was going to say, they're not at all. He's had a bit of a drift like a rally cross car, but he manages to handle that very well indeed. But yeah, I haven't had many predictions so far in the chat on who's gonna, well, when it's gonna dry up. But we'll have to wait and see. It does take a while to dry up around this circuit, so you never know. It's Brazil at the end of the day. Oscar is going to try and send it 2-1. That would have been amazing if Oscar could do that, but he did not. He wanted to play it safe. But Oscar's got to get past Azim. Azim's been on those tyres for 12 laps. Oscar has just pitted. If Oscar doesn't get a move on, Volokongan is going to catch up very soon as well, and he's on older tyres, and he's going to be absolutely swamped by people with older tyres. So Oscar can't play it safe at this point. He's got to take some risks, otherwise the ones who are on older tyres are just going to start to pour away from the likes of Oscar.
Yeah, definitely. So Dirk leading the way, by the way, is finally into the pit lane. So finally he comes in the pit lane. Nearly it's the pit wall into the pit lane. Goodness me, but he's into the pit lane. Dirk is going to come out around where George Ansel, Hazara, Volokongan is. I think that sort of battle. Oscar and Azim, by the way, side by side, coming now down in towards turn 1. And Azim, in fact, as I mentioned, he would have to make another pit stop. He's in the pit lane, he's sideways into the pit lane. Goodness me, saw that on the left-hand side of the screen. Azim there, sideways into the pit lane. Dirk is going to be behind Volokongan, I think, coming out of the pit lane, which again is not at the end of the world. George Ansel will be absolutely crying out to Hazara, saying, get a move on. I want to try and overtake you. On the back of Dirk, I will be. And now, yes, somebody was round.
Right in 15. Rayan, sorry. I'm rubbish at names.
It was Rayan. I didn't hear you. It was absolutely fine, though. George Ansel, though, on the back of Hazara. P8 and P9. George Ansel definitely needs to get this move done on the back of Hazara. If I'm him, I'd go for moving towards turn number 10. He's got right side end plate damage on the car as Rayan there comes into the pit and retires the car. George is on the back of Hazara. If I'm him, I'd go for the move here. But he knows better than me, to be honest. And to be honest, this is why I'm not out on track and not racing on this game in F124. Because if I went for that move, I think Hazara would have been ending up in a wall. I would have been ending up in a wall.
Yes, I would have probably ended up in the wall too. I do race on this game, but I do bear in the commentary box, which is why I do more of it. Here comes George, by the way. He's going to go to the inside line. It's not blocked off. And, yep, he's got the move done towards the centre end. He's got to come around the outside. Oh, bit of contact. Ooh. But I think George has it. But I'm sure Hazara's going to be very peeved about that.
He will be, but he's on 23 lap old inters, which are acting like a set of hards right now, compared to George Ansel on what 16 lap pressure tyres, and George hardly got past him. And is that a bad thing? Probably not, but George has managed to get the move done on Hazara. Both of these drivers, by the way, are literally on life support, I think, in terms of their chances of getting a seat next season in PSF1. And I think that was a really good battle for not only Conor McDonough to have a look at, but also the other stewards, the other race coordinators as well, for how they're going to place drivers in PSF1 and PSF2 next season. Because Hazara and George Ansel can fight, but proven there with that battle. And they were absolutely clean in that battle as well, with Hazara on 23 lap old inters. So definitely something to go at for both their drivers. Volokongan, Bananarama against Dirk now down the straight in towards turn 1. Volokongan is coming across on the side of Dirk. Dirk's surely going to get the run though up the straight, up the pit wall, in towards turn 1. Job done for Dirk. Volokongan made that a lot more difficult though.
He did. He did not make that look easy one bit as Dirk tried to get past him. My, oh my, that could have been contact, but it shows the amount of respect that Dirk and Volokongan have out there on at the circuit, especially in the final race of the season. So let's hope they can continue fighting. Now we hit the stage of the race, apart from the likes of Alpha Gully and Luca Rapasa, pretty much everyone else is quite quiet out there on circuit. They're just running their own little race. We want to see some more action, but as it gets towards the very late stage of the race, it could dry up for all we know. Alpha Gully, again, is driving like he's doing rallycross, but that's because the conditions are so difficult.
They are, and currently as it stands, by the way, McLaren are gaining points over Kick Sauber. Gavano is the other driver for Kick Sauber, along with Luke Rapata. Luke Rapata's only gaining 1 point. Tom Roberts is gaining 10. So this is over and done with right now in terms of the constructors. But I want to say this. Can we get a safety car before the end of the race?
Oh,
I
God,
really want a safety car. Just to spice things up a little bit, because it'll compact the field up. Everyone will be right together. They'll all be on fresher Vinters. And they'll all be equal.
I've had enough safety cars from yesterday. There was about 3 or 4.
Oh, God. Well, we definitely don't want to wish that.
I was not racing, thank goodness, because in the one I was racing, there was only 1 or 2. Alpha Gully sliding again through the centre S's.
Yeah, he's really, really a slidey thing, isn't he, Alpha Gully, right now? Down in P11, he's got Matteo, the former champion, of course, there down in P12. It's really weird for me to say Matteo, former champion, because we normally have the title fight going to the final race of the season. But in the end, Alpha Gully now going to be under pressure on Matteo. Matteo's on much fresher tyres, Azim on much fresher tyres compared to both of them. But the whole team game, the esports team game, as me and Evan have been calling it here in commentary this season, could come into play because Luke Rapata and Alpha Gully are part of Shazoo. Luke Rapata don't think it's going to interfere with this. Alpha Gully, Matteo and Azim are in the same team. So, could there be a little bit of... I'm not going to say collusion. If it's individual, yes. And I hope it's going to be individual. But Azim seems quicker than Matteo. So if I'm Matteo, I'd be letting Azim through for me to have a crack at Alpha Gully ahead.
Because last time there was a championship fight, if you're not in the same constructor, Alpha Gully's in. I'm not surprised. And Mr. James Head proves his theory wrong. Tick for me.
Egg on my face. Egg on my face, quite literally, for Alpha Gully. But he is in the pit lane. I did warn that he was going to be one of the drivers to come into the pit lane, to be fair, a little bit early on in the race. But it's going to be really intriguing. Very slidey. Azim has got moved on Matteo, by the way, down the straight and towards turn 1. So he's now clear of Matteo. Up to P11 he goes. Matteo there down in P12. Penalty situation, by the way, out on track as it stands, with everyone basically being spawned out like a washing line right now. 3 seconds worth of penalty for Brando, 6 seconds for Hazara, 3 for Azim and down in P11, and then Gavano on 3 seconds worth of penalties as well, out on track. How's everyone's day been? Anything interesting gone on in your days, everyone?
There's not much going on. That's probably why James is asking that question. But we got the final few moments of season 37. It's been a very good season so far, and I think we're going to wrap up with such entertaining fights to wrap up the season, of course. We started off in Silverstone, and we're wrapping up here at Brazil. And, of course, we're going to Silverstone next season in the middle half on December the 2nd. And we're going to tracks like Belgium, Qatar, Monaco, Canada, Texas, Jeddah, Las Vegas, Japan. All those amazing tracks, and rounding up with Bahrain next season. It's going to be amazing. Make sure you tune into the channel to find out more information. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting. What's going on there?
This track is drying up, I think. It's still raining out on track. Coming up the hill with Danny Van Routen, I'm bored with him. There's definitely a dry line forming. Is this track drying even though it is raining? That's probably the worst possible thing for me to say. But it looks as if it is. It looks as if this track is going to dry. Your prediction, maybe, of dries by lap 30 could be coming true. The rain is beginning to stop out on track. There is no question about it. The rain is easing quite considerably. It means the guys in the fresher winters are beginning to come back into play. Tom Roberts, Brando, Oscar, et al., which means we could get a 4-way fight for P2 before this race ends, which is going to be really interesting indeed. But whether or not it dries up before the end of the race is a different thing. It is still raining very lightly out on track. But compared to 2 minutes ago, as Luke Rapata's clear on Azara, compared to 2 minutes ago, this rain was quite heavy. And this rain now is stopping. and is stopping pretty quickly. I would not be surprised, Jess, if we are dry by lap 33.
And maybe even lap 34. And let's just say F2 had exactly the same weather. Exactly the same. It's like they were running the same lobby. They were not, they weren't. But it was set to dynamic for those of you that are wondering. But yeah, F2 was exactly the same. F4 was dry. F3, I don't know. I'm tempted to have a bit of a nose from F3, but it would mess up my internet, so I won't check. But Nordic Ninja saying the laps are on the dot of these changes. You never know. It's still raining a bit. You can still see the drops a little bit. But you can't afford to push too much on these inters, because especially the ones on older inters, they're going to struggle. As he gets past Zara. Shortest one to the line possible. It's going to be for top 10 finish, remember? Hazara's through.
How's Hazara still going, by the way, on those tyres? Azim gets the move done, though. Much fresher tyres to the inside line. Job done for Azim through in the 10th and through into the points. But Hazara, 29 laps he's been out there. He hasn't even pitted yet, Hazara. In the pit lap, he hasn't even pitted, even on lap 1. He's still going out on track. If you want to go out with a blaze of glory. Ryan's tyres are dropping off the cliff. Tom Roberts now right on the back of Ryan. In towards Beacon of Battle with turn number 10. Ryan's tyres are gone. They are absolutely shot. And Ryan will be hoping to try and go one position better than season 36, than last season. Tom, though, has got a full battery to try and use up. Ryan has got 10% less. And now Tom is right on the back of Ryan. What I said 2 laps ago has now come true. We're getting that 4-wide battle potentially for P2. Brando is catching very quickly on the back of Tom as well. And he, in fact, is using overtake on the back. Tom now to the inside line. Pulls alongside on the back of Ryan, in towards turn 1. Surely going to get the car stopped. He does. Tom Roberts too. And he's into second. Ryan there in third. I think there's only one way Ryan's going to be going, as Brando was sideways there in the background. Oscar now beginning to come into this race as well. Tom Roberts though into second. Ryan there in third. Brando there in fourth. And right now, Ryan could be the one that's beginning to drop as he nearly spins the car through 4.
That was very close, but it shows how worn these tyres are for Ryan. If he's not careful, he's going to end up into a wall, and you do not want to end your race with so little to go until the end of it. Very tight for Brando, and Ryan trying to get past, and Ryan trying to defend. Oscar is in this as well. Oscar trying to go for a move on the S's. That was very brave from Oscar, but he decided to play it safe. I would have gone for it if I were you on the fresher tyres, but Ryan is not giving up. Without a fight, Brando's going to try and go to the left-hand side. So close to the sausage curb. It could have been disaster. They're all sliding. Tom Roberts is like, thank you very much. I could increase that gap if you guys keep squabbling.
Here comes Oscar.
Here comes Oscar as well. Double take from Oscar. If it's going to work from the Shazoo man who's improved on this game, after that,
what a move.
It's yes. Wow.
Oh. Oscar had that absolutely set up. Coming out of turn number 12, there's a yellow flag out on track. I think that's Alpha Gully there, struggling right at the back of the field. He's now getting back going again. Sorry, it's Hazara even that has spun. Has he got a puncture by any chance? Yes, he has. Rear right has gone. Rear right tyre has gone for Hazara, so no surprises there. Ryan, though, was so much under pressure. Brando now right on the back with 2 green cars about to go side by side up the hill in towards turn number 6 and 7. Sun now beginning to come through the cloud cover here out on track in Brazil. Danny Van Mouten, no judgment about who's going to win this race. As long as he keeps it within the white lines, he can pick up about 10 seconds worth of penalties as well, to be fair, and he'll still win. Danny Van Mouten leading the way. Tom there in second, Oscar there in third. Ryan's tyres are gone. The rain is still falling out on track, so I don't think we're going to get totally dry before the end of the race. But Brando right on the back now of Ryan, in toward the left-hander Jun Sao for the 32nd time out on track with these guys. Now going on to lap 33. Brando was right underneath that rear wing as Max von der Geest advertised in the pit lane as well. Here comes Dirk on the back of these two as well. Brando, Ryan, Dirk. Who's going to get the move done? Down in towards turn 1. I think it's going to be Brando on the outside line. Battle of the late breakers. Ryan locks up in towards turn 1. Goes completely sideways. Remains just about ahead. Brando there in 5th. Dirk, though, going to part the Red Sea. Trying to go through the middle. Goes through the middle, man. Oh, why are you doing this? Dirk to the the inside line. Now going to get the move done on the back of Ryan. He made that look 10 times as worse as what he should have done. Dirk Thuney's into 4th. Ryan there in 5th. Brando there in 6th. Now Brando back to the inside on and Ryan. They're not going to give me a break here. Ryan and Brando side by side up the hill in towards turn number 6.
Oh,
and
my
Brando
goodness.
finally gets the move done as he is squirming that car through. Brando Thuney's into 5th. And what on earth is going on for the battle for 7th?
Look at this train. 4 cars fighting for 7th place. I was looking at the map whilst we were covering this fight. It was Volokonga, George Ansel, Luca Rapata, and Azim for the fight for 7th place. And we got Azim trying to get past Luca Rapata, which he does. As we can see, one of the Alpine Esports cars trying to give way, and a bit of a squirm there once more. We're going to keep an eye on a lot of battles at once here, so bear with us. Volokongan is pretty much trying to take Caddy from the baby and trying to defend. But we got Azim and George looking to score as more points as possible. I'm just reading about what's going on in the chat right now. Never mind. Absolutely crazy. But let's keep an eye on what's going out on track. Volokonga defends to the outside, which has worked well. George going to try and go for the move on the inside to the centre S. That doesn't work at all with 3 laps to go of this race. I think Azim is looking like the quicker car at the moment. He's going to get the toe. He can get a double overtake into turn 4, but he's running out of ERA, so that's going to be really difficult. Here he comes into turn 4. Can he get past George? Tiny bit of contact, but he just about gets through. Wow.
And Luke Rapata's nearly enough side by side as well with George Ansel on the exit of the corner. Lap 34 out of 36. The rain is still falling out on track. We're not going to get dry toward the end of the race. But Luke Rapata looks to the inside line now, and George Ansel, a man that has wrapped up the championship against a man fighting for his PSF1 career to the inside line. What better way to go out in a blaze of glory than fight with the champion? To the inside line, George Ansel goes and let Azim to the inside line, push the pass there on the back of Volokongan. Volokongan not going to be happy, and Azim brake checks, I think, into the back of George Ansel. Not on earth what's going on there between the both of them. And now, look who this is invited into play. Knight Rider Matteo going to be on the back of these guys, run up the hill in towards turn number 13 for the penultimate time out on track. It's going to be 3 wide. Luke Rapata now trying to get the double overtake done on the back of Volokongan. Got past Azim, got past Volokongan. Job done. You might think his tyres are going. He isn't. Luke Rapata through and he's into 7. Azim there in 8. Volokongan there in 9. George Ansel in P10, Knight Rider and Matteo in P11. Now he's going to get the move done. Julian George all out of shape, coming out of turn number 3. Matteo sweeps one by, and the former PSF1 champion is still side by side. George Ansel tries to go all the way around the outside. Never going to work. Matteo gets the move done just about, but George Ansel, try as you must. You may as well go out in a blaze of glory if this is his final PSF1 race. We're about to go on the final lap. Jess, take it away.
Thank you very much. What a race to end the season finale. There's battles happening everywhere. We also got a battle for 2nd place. Oscar's gained a lot of time on Tom Roberts. That's because Oscar's on the fresher rubber compared to Tom. Inside or outside, I don't know, but Oscar's going to think about it. It has stopped raining out on track, but again, it's not going to be dry enough. Final lap, Danny leads by 11.9 seconds over Tom as these two keep squabbling. We'll keep an eye on the likes of Luca and Matteo Volokongan in a minute, but the battle for B2 is going to get more exciting. Here comes Oscar to the right-hand side. He thinks about it. No, he doesn't think about it. So we'll jump to this battle then between Matteo and Volokongan. Volokongan almost goes to the inside line there, but thinks better of it for the time being. George may still get some points here. It's not over for George, even though he's on the older rubber. Volokongan, by the way, is on those tyres for 27 laps, and it's showing because he's gone off the track and into the grass. He's done a bit of lawn mowing, just like, oh, Volokongan's got a puncher. Volokongan's got a puncher in right.
Right through turn number 4 as well. That is an absolute shame for Volokongan. Danny Van Routen, though, is going to route the field through the final corner on the run to the line. Demolition job from Danny Van Routen to the line, takes the race win, but the battle is on for P2. Oscar trying to now get the back of Tom, trying to break Tom Hart for 2nd. Now McLaren against Oscar for P2 and 3. Tom just about gets the line in 2nd. Oscar there in 3rd. Dirk was catching them hand over fist as well there for 4th. Gavano, I think, is in a little bit of strife further down the field with Alpha Gully. There's still battles going on. Ryan about to come across the line in P6. Brando there, P5 as well. Oh my word, what an absolute brilliant race driven by Danny Van Ruiten. Tom Roberts and Oscar gave us that fight all the way to the line for P2 and 3. Luke Rapazza gets ahead of Azim. Mateo there in P8. George Ansell picks up his second point. Second point of the season. What a way to try and sign off if it is his final race in PSF1. There in P10. Gavano's going to give us a little bit of a blaze of glory, given that Kick Sauber did not wrap up the championship for constructors. Gavano to the line there, finishing in P12. And then Volokongan, he may as well have a little bit of fun on that rear right. He doesn't want to get beached, though, on the grass.
Oh, my God.
He's still going on. He's down there in P13, unlucky for Selman, and definitely unlucky for him. But it is.
His car is just, his car is going crazy right now. It's like he's on 3 wheels, like his car's getting towed.
He is literally on 3 wheels coming up the hill, and he's just been overtaken and lapped by Danny Van Ruiten's AI, which I think is just a little bit of salt into the wounds there for Volokongan. Is he going to get to the line?
Please
keep it together. Keep it together. He does. Volokongan to the line in P13. Danny Van Ruiten, though, he absolutely took that race from lap 1 and absolutely took the field apart. He was 9 seconds clear by the pit stops, 12.5 seconds clear by the end of the race. Danny Van Ruiten routed the field.
He did. I think he made the right strategy calls. He had good pace. He was on inters for the entirety of the race. He did 2 stops. He didn't need to do an extra stop, and that helped him. Because there were people that were struggling on the inters whilst to wait for the right tyre. But Danny shows that no matter what tyre he gets put on, or he chooses to go on, he could deliver, and that's exactly what he did. Excellent job from him, and a brilliant ending to his first ever season in PSF1. His second race win of the season, his first since the Japanese Grand Prix.
3-time champion in real life. In karting, Danny Van Ruiten is, and now he has just took the field apart in an absolute demolition job here in Brazil by 12 seconds out on track from Tom Roberts there in second, Oscar there in third, Dirk there finishing in P4, then it's Brando in P5, Ryan in P6, Luke Rapazza 7th, Mateo there in 8th, Azim there in 9th, and George Ansell does pick up his final point, for his second point score of the season, from second on the grid up down to 10th. Alpha Gully there in 11th, Gavano Volokongan finished, Hazara, Maxwell McGee's, Rayen, and then we had Cameron Dowds, of course, retiring early on from the race. Was reported earlier on there in the chat. We should be hearing, though, from at least Tom Roberts will be coming into the interview room very soon indeed. But, Jess, let's dissect that race. Danny Van Ruiten's demolition job. Tom Roberts and Oscar going absolute hammer and tongs second and third. Most of the battles, though, happened in the mid-pack.
Yeah, no safety cars. And that just sums up the season, I think, for these drivers. Probably the cleanest PSF1 T I've seen in a long time. Hardly any stewards reports. And the majority of the time, they just put respect around this track and they keep it relatively clean. And I hope to see the same next season and in many seasons to come. These drivers are a talent, I have to say.
They are an absolute talent indeed. And I think we are going to speak to the man, as long as I have your permission to move.
Hang on, there you go. Now you do.
There we go. Oh,
he's on PS,
isn't he?
Right.
Well,
shall
in
we?
that case,
Luckily, we're the only one broadcasting on OBS. So, shall we move over to the rating room, Mr. James?
We can do. Let's move over there.
Right, let's go.
Oh.
Hello.
We are here, I think. And as you can hear in the background, Mr. Tom Roberts is with us in the waiting room. A P2 out on track. Danny Van Ruiten up the field skated away from you, but you had a really good battle with us in the final couple of laps. Talk us through it.
Yeah, by the time I got to P2 from P12 on the grid, Danny was 8 seconds up the road, so good drive from him. Nothing I could have done about it. And the tyre wear at the end was pretty crazy. So then 2 lap pressure tyres of Oscar's were really quick. It was really hard to keep him behind, but luckily it was only 1 lap. that he caught up to me. So I just managed to hold off and get P2.
Yeah, managed to hold off and get P2 as well. Definitely a very good result from your perspective as well. Given how this season has gone and how you've been coming into form recently over the last 2 or 3 weeks in other leagues as well, you're really beginning to hit your stride in terms of this game cycle, in terms of really getting to grips with the cars, even if it is just F1 World cars still. But you have shown a lot of attributions, I think, for a really good season that you've had, and you've ended up being part of the Constructors' Champions for McLaren.
Woo!
Yeah.
I said woo.
Yeah, champions. I don't know if anyone really looks at the constructor standings, but yeah,
We
it's
do.
nice. I think those teams. Well, anyway, congrats to Cameron as well for that. But yeah, the qualifying, I still have like an average quality position of P12, which is just, you can't win a championship like that. So that was not very good. I just need to improve my consistency, because whenever I'm not like fighting for the win or a podium, I just sort of DNF or end up outside the points. Because most of the other guys are just always scoring points and across the course of the season, whereas I'm either on the podium or nowhere. So need to stop that.
Well, speaking of podiums, looking at your stats this season, that's your 5th podium of the season, which is absolutely remarkable, I think, given how you've really approached this season. 3rd, of course, in America in round 2, and Saudi Arabia and Mexico back-to-back. Of course, you won last week in Qatar, and now you pick up a P2 in Brazil. So overall, in the season, how do you think this season has gone? Because those 5 podiums are absolutely brilliant, I think, compared to recent seasons in PSF1.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy with the 5 podiums. My pace in sort of the first 4 rounds, I'd say I would be very happy if you told me I'd got a win and 3 other podiums. So I'll take it, but hopefully next season I start off stronger and hold on to that throughout the whole season, instead of just being towards the end when a lot of people have lost motivation. I sort of come through.
Yeah, me and Jess know what you are capable of out on track. You've definitely proved it this season in front of me and Evan, in front of me and Jess tonight, of course, picking up that P2. And speaking of Jess, any questions, Jess?
Yeah, first of all, Tom, nice to see you back up on the podium. Talking of next season, season 38, the calendar has just been released a couple of days ago. Any tracks you're looking forward to and any tracks you're not looking forward to after seeing what we're racing at next season?
Well, to be honest, I said that I want to start off strong, but my worst track is definitely Spa.
Oh.
One of my worst tracks is probably Australia.
Oh.
I've not touched Canada in a while, so I mean...
Well, that's not going to be a good start, is it? That your least favourite tracks are at the start. But if you get a good result, then that's going to really help you for the rest of the season, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it somehow goes well in the first 3 races, then it's looking good for the rest of the season. But it's only a few weeks away, actually, so...
Not that long to go. Yeah, not that long to go until the start of the season, so you better get practicing for it. That's my questions, James.
Yeah, 3 weeks to go until the new season starts in Australia, and I guarantee you, because he's a returning driver, he's now going to be sitting with his feet up and his slippers on over the next at least 2 weeks as well, going forward on a Monday night. Tom Roberts, P2 out on track. Go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Very welcome indeed, and we should now hopefully begin to get the other 2 in, Danny Van Ruiten and indeed Jazu Oscar. Danny Van Ruiten will, I think, join us very soon indeed. But while we wait for Danny, let's have a look at that calendar in a little bit more detail before we get Danny in. Australia, of course, ran one of the championship. Strong at for round 2, so I'm not sure what he's going on about there for at least 2 of the first 3 rounds being one of his worst tracks. He has won around Belgium, if I'm not mistaken, as well in the past. But looking at that calendar, Jess, just before we get into the interview with Danny, Australia for first round of the season is going to be either very hellish or very, very good.
Usually it's very good, and it's kind of like goes full circle because that was the first ever track I commentated on at PSGL. It might have been a pre-season race, but it was the first race I ever commentated on PSGL. So yeah, it's come full circle. We haven't had many races around Australia, so I think it's going to be quite technical, quite hard because not many races are done on Australia on this game. So they've got to do their research a little bit, I think.
Definitely going to be doing their research a lot as well. But we can now speak to the man who ended up routing the field. Not a pun on his name, I swear. Danny Van Routen, P1 out on track. That was easy.
Yeah, it was quite easy after the beginning. In the beginning, I just wanted to pull away and then just kept focused and didn't make any mistakes, luckily.
Because you ended up gapping the field to what, about 9 seconds before the pit stops happened?
Yeah.
And the likes of Tom and Oscar obviously had their own troubles further down the field trying to get through the field.
Yeah.
How did you end up getting 8-9 seconds ahead of the rest of the field? Was it just purely because of what was going on with Ryan starting on the full set of wets?
No, I think I was just very quick in the beginning. I was doing quali lap after quali lap, it felt like, and then yeah, after the pit stop, I took it a bit easy. I didn't want to make any mistakes, and I just wanted to keep the lead. I knew if I didn't spin, I would have it.
Yeah, and it was a really impressive drive, obviously, from your perspective as well. I'm just trying to get on and see tonight's race result because I believe you might have finished P3 in the championship. You were 6 points behind Mateo coming into tonight, so I believe you have wrapped up P3 in the standings.
Congrats.
Your fourth
you.
podium overall this season as well. I was speaking to Tom there. He's had 5 podiums, of course, this season. Your P3 finish, is that where you expected to be in your first season in PSF1, or would you wanted to be a little bit higher?
I always go for the win, so I'm not happy with P3, but I had a couple of bad races. Some were my own mistake or with strategy, so yeah.
Yeah, after all, he is a 3-time karting champion, a Junior Max, Roll to Max, Mini Max, I think. I hope I get that right. In terms of the championship wins, he has certainly done his fair share of championships, and I'm sure if Luca Cameron Dowds may move across to PC, that opportunity is going to be there. But just talk us through your season as a whole, because P3 in the standings on your first season here, absolutely brilliant effort, I think.
Yeah, so starting in Silverstone, I got pole on my debut. Then the race, we didn't choose the right strat. Finished 3rd, which was still fine. Then second race was Miami, I think. And I got wing damage in the beginning because of a desync. So I finished like at the back. I don't know which race was after. I had a couple of shit races after as well.
Sorry for the language.
Yeah. Also, I finished 4th, I think. It was the best I could get that race. Pace wasn't that good. Then first win in Japan, pace was very good there. And yeah, now my second win.
Second win, and hopefully not the last for sure here on PSF1 as we look towards season 38. Jess, any questions?
Yeah, of course. I have to say, dominant performance from you tonight. You never looked back, and to be honest, you're running your own race the entire time. Scrap this season for a little bit. Let's jump to season 38. Looking at the calendar, any tracks do you think, wow, this is a good track for me? And is there a track that you hate?
Well, I haven't really looked at the calendar. I'll look at it right now. But I might go PC as well for the next season. I just need to save some money. Yeah.
Yeah. What tier do you think you want to be in PC?
Yeah, of course I want to be the highest, but it'll probably be like F3, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, to be honest. Yeah.
I don't know either, so don't ask me.
Yeah. Wait, I have the calendar here. So yeah, I don't like Las Vegas.
Also,
Texas, I don't like.
Oh, you don't like Texas?
The rest is all fine. Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah,
And he doesn't like text. So once you get that out of the
Yeah.
way, you should be all right. That's my question, James.
Yeah, he'll be joining the likes of Reese Imtiaz, who of course has gone to PCF3, the likes of Keanu Leotard as well, very good driver from PlayStation back in the day. Kana Kinchi in there, legend Rosenberg as well, former PSF1 champion, of course, back in the day as well. But Danny Van Ruiten, routing the field out on track, dominant drive here tonight in Brazil. Go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thank you, same. Bye-bye.
Very welcome indeed. And I'm not sure if we're going to get Oscar in. If we do, I'm sure we will join the waiting room. But looking at some of the drivers' thoughts from the Discord, plenty of drivers not happy, especially George Antle and Azim, with how the so-called brake check went, which unfortunately I did see on stream. And
Yes.
of course, Jess was controlling the cameras, so I'm not sure if she caught it, but definitely looked like a bit of a brake check for me, and a little bit of fallout potentially coming from that.
And I think I would expect quite a few stewards reports going into this. Just because it's the final race doesn't mean they can go all out and cause incidents. Brake checks are not taken lightly here at PSGL, so I'm sure the stewards will definitely be looking at that.
They will definitely be looking at that indeed as well. It's going to be really intriguing to see how everything dissects. We will, of course, inform you in the stewards report in about 3 weeks' time. We're not going to be here for the next 2 weeks, which is good. But which is kind of good, kind of sad at the same time, because it brings to end my 4th season of commentating here in PSF1. And I've absolutely loved this beyond any season I think me and Jess commentated on F1 23. This season has been my favourite. Not because Evan was alongside me in the commentary box or anything like that. It was just purely because of the racing that we got out on track. Every race we seemed to go to just seemed to be absolute race upon race upon race upon race, where there was a lot of good action, a lot of clean driving, a lot of really good equal racing. And that ultimately is what you want from PSF1, where we might not have a shining star currently on PSF1 right now. Everything, though, comes in shapes and sizes. We see, of course, there with Danny Van Ruiten potentially going to PC. Everything, though, goes forward into Season 38. And right now, I would say PlayStation is currently in a good place. Yes, we might be still looking for that up-and-coming star. We might be looking for the next Luca Rapata or the next Cameron Dowds. But Season 38... these guys in F2 and F3, we want to see you step up if you want a chance at the big time.
Yeah, I think we want to see plenty of stars move up the ranks. We saw that with Matteo last season. We saw that with Luca this season. We might see that with Paul in F1 next season, because he became F2 champion tonight, and he should be moving up to F1 next season. So how do you think Paul will do?
I think Paul will actually go pretty well. Is he going to follow on the same path as what Matteo did, of course? Season 35, PSF2. Season 36, PSF1 champion. Is he going to follow in the same footsteps there? I think against, though, the likes of Luca Rapata, Cameron Dowds, say if they come back, of course, for next season, is he going to be on the same level of pace as those two? Probably not. Is he going to be around the mid-pack? Yes, he most definitely will be. I've seen him across other leagues as well. Definitely will fit in very well in PSF1. I think Sergio potentially as well from F4 potentially could get a really good seat as well.
Yes.
I love how I'm just speaking about pretty much half the roster of the ET8 guys right now.
But they're a strong team, James. They're a very strong team.
They're a strong team, and they've got very, very good young talented drivers coming through their system as well, which is always good to see. And hopefully that translates into something going ahead onto Season 38. But if you want more, and I dare say this again, if you want more, there is more action to come, of course, on a would-be Wednesday night, but I've just read there's a break week for PCF1, so no PC races for break week.
No.
I don't think there's any more PC races going on either, so I think that's your lot, I think, for us for this season.
I will tell you when the next race is for PCF1. The 9th of October around Las Vegas will be our next PCF1 race, so you got about a week to wait.
Yep, and then the week after, the
Texas.
PCT will start before us, of course, and that is Australia. Yeah, Texas for PCF1, October 16th. Australia on the 17th of October. I know, it's a little bit confusing for the PC guys starting after.
But PCF1, that's going to be the track, so they might do it in sim racing, so they want to get a bit of practice in.
Yeah, which I think with sim racing starting in November, I've heard. So, yeah, they've definitely got to get some of the practice in as that as well. But 17th of October, Australia ran one of the championship for the main PC tiers, the likes of PCF2 and F4, of course, will be live. F3 and F5, I think, will also be live as well on this very channel on Premier Sim GL. Of course, all commentary is to be confirmed by my co-commentator alongside me in the commentary box. But I really hope you have enjoyed tonight, and I really hope that we have brought a little bit of love into your life as well. Hopefully with the love of sim racing, and hopefully with the love of motorsport in this world that sometimes gives us, I don't know, it gives us politics, it gives us everything, it gives us war. This, though, is a break from that. This is sim racing at its finest, and hopefully we get to see that going ahead into season 38 as well.
Can I say the thank yous?
I'm gonna go on.
I'll just like to say, I'll say one thank you, and I'll let you do the rest of the thank yous because you're lead commentator, not me. I'm used to doing the thank yous every season, but it's not my job. Thank you so much to yourself and Evan for being superb F1 commentators for the entirety of the season. Evan did a great job filling in for me throughout the entirety of the season in my absence whilst I've been busy most Mondays. I'm trying to remember who filled in for round 2. I think it might have been Byron, for round 2. So thanks to him as well. So, yeah, I think yourself and Evan James have been fantastic covering the PSF1 commentary box. Hopefully, if Connor says yes to my decision, of course, hopefully we can get you both back in for season 38.
I would love that. I would obviously love that. I think PSF1 even. I'm getting my lofty targets up.
Yeah,
PSF1,
exactly.
PSF1 is definitely, I hope, going to be my home for season 38. If not, I absolutely love commentating here in PSGL. But big thank yous, of course, to the rest of the commentary team, to the likes of Otaku Logan, to the likes of Daniel Hogarth, who came, of course, in for F2. The likes of Sappytron over there in PC. I've been Mike, of course, covering through the F4. Omi, of course, for F2 and PC. All of the commentators, I know who you are. Jess knows who you are. You do absolute God's work to get all of the streams up on time. Every single tier running on time as well. Hopefully, you really enjoyed what this season has brought for PSGL. Big thank you to Big C, of course, who absolutely worked his socks off in terms of absolutely bringing the best of PlayStation and the best of PC to you guys there at home, to the stewarding team, to all the coordinators, to all the supervisors, to all the admins, Ryan for being the great lobby host that we've had all season, to all the lobby hosts that we've had all season, to all of you guys at home. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys would not make PSF1 work, you will not make PSGL work, and the drivers wouldn't make PSGL work. It's as simple as that. And I think that is where we are probably going to end off. I really hope you enjoyed the stream here tonight. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new for the channel. Myself, and hopefully Evan, and the rest of the commentary team will be seeing you in 3 weeks' time for round 1 of the championship in Australia. But until then, I've been James Head, she's been Jessica Ball. We'll have a word from our sponsors Sim Racing Centre and GT Omega. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.